In today's mental health check, we're talking anger management. For some folks, it's easier said than done.
In fact, being angry doesn't just ruin your mood, but it can directly impact your heart health. A new study finds that a surge of anger can increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks and strokes. Joining us now is family and clinical psychologist Dr. Jennifer Hartstein.
Dr. Jen, always good to have you. So I want to put out the disclaimer. Anger is a natural emotion that everyone will feel, but of course, unregulated, it can be harmful, as Kate just touched on. What are some of the negative health effects that come with that?
So you're right. It's something we're all going to experience at different times, and things we have to be mindful of. Or it can cause heart distress and some sort of cardiovascular responses because our kind of bodies are flooded with all of these stress hormones, and so it keeps us at this elevated risk. Gastric distress is possible, heart issues, as we said. It can create an increase in depression and anxiety for some people, headaches, insomnia. There's a lot of things that then kind of also impact our cardiovascular health when one thing happens, kind of the domino effect.
I'm going to be honest. You see me here every day pretty calm, but when I get angry, I get really like, rah, you know, and have to yell. And so when we're in that moment, in my family, we call it emotion mind. When I'm in that moment, how I've tried to learn, but talk about how to calm down.
Right, so it is emotion mind, right? When we feel any emotion intensely, we are in emotion mind. So we need to kind of inject what we would call some rational mind so we can be a little calmer. Some ways to do that is we put kids on a timeout when they're overwhelmed and dysregulated. Put yourself on a timeout, right? Hit pause before you say something you're gonna regret. Then kind of when you can be on that timeout, think about what it is that's really bothering you, be clear, go back to the source and have a conversation. And maybe your timeout involves some meditation, some relaxation, some movement, so you can kind of like shake it off in some way.
Yeah, and Dr. Jen, notably, this study seems to indicate that anger hits differently than some of the other emotions you touched on, depression, sadness. Why is that? Why is the impact so much bigger?
So I think that, you know, emotions are a Venn diagram. They all overlap, right? So anxiety, depression, and anger have overlap, but anxiety and depression are kind of things that bring you to somebody. If I'm sad, you're gonna wanna come towards me. Whereas when I'm angry, you're gonna wanna go away from me. So anger becomes a protective emotion for many of us, but the overlap with depression might be some irritability, or with anxiety might be a heightened level of hyperarousal. So there's a lot of things that go together, but anger is definitely a push away kind of a thing.
Can we flip the script though for a second? Are there any positives to
100%.
that angry release, or, you know, feeling anger?
For sure. Well, we started by saying anger is a natural reaction. So it's valid. If I like smashed into you and didn't apologize, that might make you angry, and that's valid, right? So we want to make sure that we don't say that anger is bad, because it gets a bad rap. But it's a valid emotion, and getting that release and like kind of discharge helps us feel calmer. But what we do with it and how we kind of follow through on it is, you know, go boxing, don't hit somebody else.
Right. When might anger be a sign that you need some more professional help intervention? I feel like culturally we talk about anger management a lot, maybe flippantly, but it can warrant some serious intervention.
It really can, because many of us have a very short fuse. I imagine when you're having these emotion-minded moments, it's not like something happens, boom, you blow up. It probably builds up. But for some of us, there is a small fuse, and boom, we're there. So if I'm noticing it's impacting relationships, impacting other people, causing problems in my life, or people are saying to me, hey, I can't tolerate your anger, really take that to heart and go seek some professional help to get some skills and strategies, not to make your anger go away, but to make you handle it better.
One of the things that I do, and I know this is something I've learned from psychologists, is to literally cool myself down. Right? Like put my hands under water or splash some water on my face. Are there any other tips real quick that you would
Cool yourself down. Get, you know, what are your outlets? Art. What other low dopaminergic exercise or thing can you do? Get your face in the sun, hold an ice cube, take a really hot shower even, and then really talk to somebody that you trust to help you calm down.
Dr. Jen Hartstein, always great to have you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for being with us. We got a lot more news ahead.
You're watching NBC News Daily.